Boy pussy is actually just man ass?
Yeah.
I thought boy pussy was like the crevice between one's balls.
No.
That's
Boy pussy's your
weird.
butthole, boy.
Oh. Is my butthole always boy pussy, or does it turn into boy pussy when necessary?
It only becomes boy pussy when you become a trap slut.
Okay. Can I switch back and forth, or is that a permanent transformation?
No.
No?
You're just one when you're one, you're just one when you're the other.
Okay. Alright, we've started.
Hello.
Heyo.
I'm Brenton. Welcome to the 8 Eyes on 3 Guys podcast, where we talk about movies, and usually movies, and also some movies, and maybe some boobies, but not really, because usually we talk about movies. I'm joined by esteemed co-host and friend of the podcast, Alex.
Hi.
And, of course, esteemed co-host and enemy of the podcast, Eric.
Yeah, I'm Eric. I hate this podcast and seek nothing but its destruction.
He hates it and the Democrats.
Yeah, I do hate the Democrats.
The Demon Rats.
I do seek nothing but this show's destruction, and it is all that I seek in all of my efforts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit, the movie you chose was like trauma.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
All part of my secret plot. Beginning stages.
Let's explain
It's 12 steps.
Let's explain something to the audience real quick here. We intended to sit down and...
This is step 2 for those keeping track.
And record a couple podcasts today, but I'm a fucking tired boy, so we're just doing one.
Yeah, only one. That's okay.
We picked Eric's next choice, Stevie, to do first, simply because Alex didn't immediately have access to his choice, and we were like, oh, let's just set it up.
Yeah. And, I've talked about, my choice a little bit. Even I haven't had as much hype as for that movie as I had for Stevie.
Yeah, this movie's trailer is extremely excellent at hooking you in.
Yeah, for sure.
And then this is a documentary, by the way. It's a documentary called Stevie. It came out in 2002. It's about a director traveling back to his hometown to meet this man named Stevie, who he used to be a big brother for in the Big Brother program. And it's about how that man's life has changed over the years, and how it continues to change.
People changes.
Yeah, people changes. A line spoken by the titular character of Stevie in the film. This documentary is fucking fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. I was not bored at all the whole time.
Stevie is a character. He is by no means a good person at all. But he has almost this charming backwoods naivety.
Yeah.
But also he's
a total scumbag.
A total scumbag child molester.
Yeah.
The main crux of this film, almost the main driving point in its plot, is a third of the way through, it gets revealed that Stevie molested his niece and that he's going to prison for it.
Yeah.
So you have all of the characters reacting to that. And you just kind of see Stevie's life spiral.
Yes.
And this is a personal documentary. It's a personal drama documentary. It's not a grand scale narrative like something on World War II or stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it focuses in on a very tight group of people.
Yeah, you have Stevie, you have his sister, you have his mom, you have
his fiance,
Tanya, you have his grandma, and then you have his aunt.
Yeah.
And then you have his 2 foster parents who show up at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
And then you have the director himself, who is as much a character in this film as everyone else, because his interactions with Stevie really show, what he values in life as well.
Yeah. And he definitely questions a lot of himself about his motives for just making it a movie.
Well, I think one of the more poignant moments of this film is at the end. He's talking about the process of having made this film, of how Stevie initially, at least he feels, initially accepted to be in this movie to reconnect with him, and it almost became exploitative because of the hot mess that Stevie's life is.
Yeah.
And the fact that he as a filmmaker, I believe his name is also Steve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steve the director, he also believes himself in the honesty of filmmaking. So he tries to be, no holds barred, and present everything exactly as it is.
And I think he succeeds.
I think he mostly accomplishes it.
There are a few points where he gets a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
But
I feel like his emotion doesn't bleed into the filmmaking too much.
Yeah.
You can tell he obviously has a soft spot for Stevie, but I really don't think Stevie is presented too sympathetically. Like, he's obviously not a good person, and he's obviously done a lot of bad.
I think he's
shown with a little sympathy, but I feel like this director would have shown anyone with a little sympathy.
And I think that perceived sympathy is just that Stevie is kind of charming.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, like this when the director is talking to the leader of the Aryan Brotherhood,
yeah,
that
was a reveal.
Holy shit!
About having Stevie taken in by them so he doesn't get murdered in prison. One of the things he says is, even if the director's own daughter got molested like that, he wouldn't want the guy killed because he wants to hold on to that hope for humanity.
Yeah.
Now, I think that speaks to the director's character.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this movie fucking goes places.
Yeah.
Like, Stevie's fiancée, Tanya, is a mentally handicapped woman who is like utterly charming and sweet and is far too good for Stevie.
She's very smart as well.
Yeah, like, she's clever and she's insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have, like, simple conversations. They have, like, an actual banter.
Yeah. And, I mean,
she's a lot smarter than Stevie is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not even an overstatement.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's honestly a great character. She undergoes a lot of character growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if in the end she decides just to wait for Stevie. The amount of agency she takes throughout the film increases and increases.
She's not like just blindly in love with him. She sees everything he does, and
she accepts some faults and all.
Yeah, which is maybe not
necessarily
not the best thing for her to do.
No. But
and
it is,
and maybe she doesn't understand that it's not the best thing for her to do.
But it is in its own way admirable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other characters you guys want to talk about in this film? Like, there's plenty to talk about. But
the mom,
anything
for sure.
Specifically you guys want to talk about?
The mom, for sure. The grandma.
We'll start mom, then.
Sure.
It's Stevie's mom. She's weird. Carolyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's...
And then her sister.
Yeah, well,
let's
just talk about the mom for now.
Yeah.
It's not quite exactly confirmed. Like, there's no direct evidence of it, that Stevie and his mother had a very abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it is said multiple times through the film that she would beat him very badly. And that would account for a lot of Stevie's issues, and that she also abandoned him to a foster home.
Yeah, when he was 12.
Yeah. I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely clear on the timeline. There are parts where he's with his foster family, but there's also parts where he's with his grandmother. I'm not too clear on the timeline.
Yeah. I thought they said 12, but
honestly,
I could be wrong.
And it's also revealed that during his time in the foster care facility, he was raped.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, would explain and account for his later behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excuse it, of course, but...
Yeah.
Obviously, Stevie has been, has been enacted upon this violence, and he's just perpetuating the cycle.
I think that's one of the pretty much the biggest theme that I took away in the movie. It's just
the sadness and futility of it.
Yeah, just like, he did this horrible thing, but also like he was, totally stuck. He was like,
it's not black and white.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
exceptionally more black and white than it normally is because he's a dirty pedophile.
And he was convicted in court, so.
But, like...
I just mean, like, that doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah. It makes... You can see why he ended up like he did, and you can understand the tragedy of it.
Yeah, I guess that's more what I'm trying to say.
This movie, its trailer almost presents it as an almost comedy documentary.
Yeah,
kind of how absurd it is.
The music is more upbeat and hopeful.
Yeah, but honestly, this movie is a tragedy.
Yeah.
There's so many horrific things that happen, not only to Stevie, but to the people around him.
And it's 2.5 hours, and it's kind of like relentlessly that. Yeah, like it's a little hard to sit through at some points.
It's very downtrodden.
Yeah,
people get sad. There's Stevie's step grandmother, because Stevie's mother got pregnant by a man, and Stevie does not know who his real father is, and then convinced a man to marry her and become Stevie's stepfather, and that's who she had Stevie's sister with.
He didn't find out that he wasn't his dad till, like, he was, in his 20s?
Something like that, yeah. Right around the time he died. And Stevie ended up getting taken in by his step-grandparents for a long time. And, like, it's not super clear, but it's almost implied that relationship might have been a little toxic as well, and not exactly the healthiest.
Yeah.
Because you have his grandma almost making excuses for him and, excusing his more toxic behaviors and enabling him.
Mm-hmm.
As well as, not exactly being the greatest of people. But, one other thing we should talk about, enabling behavior, is the person who set up the interaction between Stevie and the little girl he's so awfully hurt was his mother, remember?
Yeah.
Because she's the one who called him over to babysit.
Right. And the aunt was really, like, upset about that, understandably.
Yeah, so the aunt is, I think, the only character with absolutely no faults in this film.
Yeah.
She is just an upset, sad parent who is just trying to do her best for her child.
Mm-hmm. Do we ever get to meet... We don't ever see the kid, do we?
No.
Okay.
Which I think is good.
Yeah, but we hear a lot about, like, what the kid's going through in the aftermath.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nightmares.
Kid won't sleep in her room.
Like jumps at the drop of a pin.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Apparently Stevie threatened to kill her.
Yeah.
Specifically if she, like, told anybody. And she told people, of course, so.
Yeah. And actually, that's another theme throughout the film. Stevie's fucking crazy. He reveals multiple times places where he threatened to use acts of violence or used acts of violence.
He was gonna hit his wife with a claw hammer because she called him a retard.
Or he attempted to cut his mother's brakes, but ended up cutting the circuit.
Yeah.
He was gonna beat the shit out of his sister because they didn't give Tanya a ride because he was being an asshole. Yeah.
Stevie is by no means a good person.
Of course, those are all just threats of violence.
Yes,
but
he doesn't really perform that much violence throughout the film. I don't think he ever actually swings at anyone.
Do you think he's capable of violence?
I think he's capable. Well, he obviously he's been arrested for assault and battery before.
Oh, okay.
One thing about Stevie is he has a rap list a mile long. He has several crimes on his rap list.
That's true.
Petty theft, credit card fraud, all that sort of shit.
Man, credit card fraud? I wouldn't... That one surprises me because I just wouldn't think he'd be that smart.
Yeah, that really caught me off guard. Let's talk about Stevie's sister, Brenda.
Okay.
Brenda's an okay character. She enlightens us a lot about Stevie, and it is revealed that like she might have been touched by Stevie as well when they were younger. Remember?
Yeah. That's one of the most gross moments when the grandmother tries to like excuse it. Yeah, like, oh, they were just kids. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I brought up enabling and toxic behaviors. But she gets almost shadowed by her husband, Doug, because of that, whenever Stevie's around. Mm. And it's almost obvious that she doesn't really like Stevie that much. Yeah. But she also happens to be the guy who handles his Social Security checks that he gets.
I missed that, actually.
Well, so, yeah, so Stevie ended up in a mental hospital, remember? For a while. And when he got out, he was declared unfit for work, so he got Social Security insurance checks from the government. And you need to have a caree, like a carer, to receive those. So she would receive them and then give the money to Stevie. And remember they had that conversation where he threatened to beat her up because she wouldn't give him $45 to go buy marijuana?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, this film is filled with absurdities that you want to laugh at because they're absurd. Yeah. But also it's
incredibly tragic.
They're real people.
Yeah.
It's not just like someone didn't set this up.
There are some things that like no matter how awful it is, like I can't help but laugh at.
Yeah, such
like
as
just hearing the way that she pronounces marijuana, the retarded lady. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah, she goes, marijuana.
He drinks, he does marijuana.
Whiskey.
He said that whiskey and marijuana. He goes crazy.
A scene I want to talk about is that first one where the director brings his wife and kids out to meet Stevie.
Oh, that scene.
And then Stevie starts talking mad shit about trying to kill people, and they just usher their kids out and leave.
Yeah,
of course, that was before they knew he was a dirty pedophile as well.
Yeah. Well, because that was before it had happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least before he was arrested. So, good job. I think he first meets him in this... most of this movie is set like between 1997 and 1999, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it came out, 2002. Alright, is there any... What else do you guys want to talk about in regards to Stevie? Any other scenes or anything that are major?
I'm thinking.
We get a lot of Stevie philosophizing. We get a lot about his worldview in this.
He has the nickname Snake because he's not afraid of them.
Yeah, and he enjoys the snakes and picks them up and eats them, pets them, licks them.
Yeah, fucks them, shucks them.
Corns them, borns them, yorns them.
Yeah.
And honestly, Stevie's perspective on a lot of stuff is relatively interesting. And
you could call it that. You could call it interesting.
It's interesting to listen to, at least.
Yeah.
Like, he might not be the smartest cookie in the box, but, he has things to say.
I don't know.
See, Stevie would be so much more charming if it wasn't for the horrific awfulness surrounding him.
That's
because,
true.
Like, I genuinely kind of want to like Stevie.
Yeah.
He has this, like, simple-minded nature that's very charming.
Yeah.
But, like...
It's very endearing, and,
It's very endearing. It's endearing, and it makes him sympathetic. And, it makes me very sad to think about all the awful things in his life that led him to where he did. Mm-hmm. But also, he ruined a person's life.
Yeah.
In a horrific way. So he definitely deserved, like, the 10 years he spent in prison.
But I guess the question that this film is asking is, like, is that really 100% his fault? Because, I mean, he's a product of his environment.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
That's true. In a lot of ways, this movie is about nature versus nurture. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think nurture matters about as much as nature does. I think it depends person to person. But, like, I really think if Stevie had been given a better home environment when he was growing up, he might not have ended as fucked up as he did.
I mean, he probably wouldn't have molested anyone.
Yeah, well, think about at the end of the film when Stevie's interacting with his former foster parents that he liked from the Huberman house.
Yeah.
He opens up to him. He holds this great, wonderful conversation with them. Tells them all about his life. And there's this spark of happiness you can just see in him.
There's a scene when they're talking to them where they're talking about, like, what he did. No. They're talking about prison sentencing. And they go to the part where he brings up that he's literally just waiting to go to jail. That scene.
Yeah.
Combined with when he's in jail and they're like, we don't even want to know. Combined with the scenes later where he's getting charged, that's like... It's kind of hard.
Well, okay, so let's talk about his interactions with the lawyer character.
Yeah, okay.
So several times with the film, we see him interact at first with a public defender, who he eventually dismisses, and I believe his reason was, I can't, and this is not a direct quote, but it's pretty close, I'm pretty sure. I can't fucking win nothing with no woman public defender.
It was something like that.
Gotta get money to get me a good lawyer.
Yeah.
And so he does eventually get a different lawyer, and he gets a plea deal where he'd plead guilty to like a lesser felony than whatever he was originally charged with.
Mm-hmm.
But he disagrees with that. He doesn't want to. And he actually lets this whole thing go to trial, but he also attempts to get the confession he signed suppressed under the idea that it was signed under duress. But it is eventually, under an appeal at court, decided that the confession can be used as evidence. And that's actually what they eventually used to convict him, pretty much.
I missed a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
But,
this is a sleepy episode so far.
yeah, I'm tired. I'm a tired boy.
I am also tired. It's a little bit more,
We watched a 2.5 hour movie, and it was, like, emotionally exhausting.
this is a more just calm down episode.
More than, like, it was no Scooby-Doo the movie. It's a lot harder to continuously make jokes when what's happening on screen is, like, sad people talking about kids being very sad.
That's true.
I'm not, like, on the edge of my seat. It's just every 15 minutes I sink, like, harder into my seat.
I do think this movie is very interesting, though, and I think if you have the emotional fortitude, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Because I think it portrays a very interesting, very, very interesting slice of a very, very interesting man's life. And I think the arc that the director himself takes over the course of the film is very good as well.
Here's a question. How many Stevies are there? Because, this is just documenting one man's life, but not all these people are getting documented, and they got to be scurrying about all around the country.
Yeah, there's going to be at least 30 Stevies.
And not everyone has a big brother that just comes back into your life.
Yeah.
What, anything else you guys want to talk about from this? Any specific scenes?
Okay, but for real, though, like, how common do you think that a Stevie sort of phenomena is?
I don't know, like, shadows are Stevie.
That's true. We do have a Stevie here.
A shadow.
Yeah, Shadow.
Nice guy. Loves Bigfoot.
And Meth.
And Bigfoot.
But mostly Bigfoot.
Yeah.
A lot of Bigfoot.
Like, he's one of the few people who uses meth that...
search for Bigfoot?
Yeah, to search for Bigfoot.
He's got to get that Bigfoot.
That's what gives him the edge,
Yes.
is the meth.
Yeah, Bigfoot's not on meth.
That's how he's gotten so many Bigfoots.
Yeah. And the other Bigfoot hunters aren't on meth.
He cuts off their feet and hangs them up on his wall. He's got like 30 big feet.
The other Bigfoot hunters?
No.
On the TV shows?
No. He kills Bigfoots and he cuts off their feet. Then he mounts the feet on his wall.
No, he hunts other big feet hunter with the big feet.
Okay, that'd be good too. Well, what else fucking happens in this goddamn long-ass movie?
Bigfoot?
No.
Shows up.
Stevie.
Yeah, Bigfoot shows up.
That doesn't happen. Quit telling lies. We're telling dirty fucking lies.
Oh man.
We could talk more about Stevie's just complete like denial that anything's gonna happen to him.
Oh yes, so another big factor
he
throughout the
just-
film is he just denies that he's going to prison or that anything bad has happened.
Like his lawyer will be like, "Hey man, you should listen to me," and he just says no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's Stevie's prerogative, and it makes a lot of sense because at least in the way that he has been raised,
I'm sure it can be hard to trust people.
the easiest way to deal with stuff is just to deny. But like I don't know, another interesting factor in this film is, and the director brings this up himself, but Stevie always denies that he touched that kid to the director.
Yeah, even when he's like
Even
pled
after he's
guilty.
convicted. Like he pleads guilty in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But even though he pleads guilty, he always tells the director that he didn't do it.
Do you think that's like, why do you think that is?
I think he idolizes the director.
Yeah.
I think that the
'Cause
director is one of the few positive forces in Stevie's life that he remembers.
Right, and when the director was in his life, he was like the cool older brother, and like
Yeah.
you know.
And that's why I think it's so tragic
Mm-hmm.
as well that the director leaves Stevie's life the way he does.
Wait, why?
Well, because he enters Stevie's life intending to reconnect, right?
Uh-huh.
And he becomes embroiled in this awful, awful situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in essence, he abandons Stevie again into the prison system. Like as much
we
as
don't know if he
as
like,
much
goes
as
to
he's
visits him.
as much as
they
he
get
says.
letters.
Yeah.
He says he sends like poems and stuff.
Yeah, no. As much as he says that, he's still in a way abandoning Stevie.
Well, what was he supposed to do? I mean, the guy's got to go to jail.
Yeah. No,
I mean, he tried to save him.
No, I completely
could.
agree that he did all he could. But he even admits it himself. Remember in the movie, he goes in as many ways. The making of this film has just been a long, drawn out process of abandoning Stevie again.
Yeah.
I mean,
He took on a project and he finished it.
He even asked
He-
Stevie if he like feels like
Betrayed.
backstabbed.
We don't know like if they kept in touch or anything.
We're only going from the context of this film. And
Yeah.
I'm saying that in many ways he does abandon Stevie again.
Yeah.
And that I think plays into the fact that this is a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is there anyone else that's interesting to talk about? There's a whole arc where Stevie's in Chicago. That's okay. He goes dancing. He goes clubbing.
Gets way too drunk.
He
and
ruins
his fiance gets mad.
Yeah, he puts strain on all of his relationships like he normally does.
Yeah.
Stevie obviously has substance abuse problems.
Yeah.
He gets far too drunk and stoned and such all the time. And it puts a strain on his relationships with other people in the film.
Yeah.
I don't know. How long into this podcast are we?
We're about 29 minutes. It's a bit of a shorter one.
Okay. Well, do you guys have anything else major to say, or do you want to give thoughts?
Um.
So I can't think of anything that's too huge in this to talk
Yeah.
about.
No. Everything that I have to say could be said in my closing thoughts.
Alex?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that we didn't really touch on too much. It's kind of hard to follow the narrative.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this. Obviously, the synopsis is a very different style than our normal ones, but this is a long documentary that mostly covers just one or two subjects, just in great detail.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quick to go through and talk about. But yeah, I'll go first, I guess. This was a good and interesting documentary. It's not shot exactly the greatest. It's very documentary style.
Mm-hmm.
But the absurdity of it almost helps carry a lot of the shots, just because of how weird Stevie looks.
Yeah.
Like he wears these ridiculous outfits throughout the film.
Those old
almost
school
always.
pedo glasses.
Yeah. But on top of that, you have this great sympathy for all of the characters within the film. Every last one, honestly, manages to engineer feelings for themselves in some way. I think the score's a little weak.
Okay.
I
didn't notice the score much.
I don't really like it too much. The narrative of the documentary, the narrative through line, is very strong. I would give this documentary, the movie Stevie, Big Papa Brenton's final rating out of 100 would be probably like a 72.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah. Alex?
Sure, I'll go. Well, I went into this movie like as maybe confused as the other two, with the trailer that gives you just a taste of Stevie. And the movie starts off with like a coincidence of like, hey, I should just go back and visit Stevie.
I genuinely like that about this movie. The fact that the director just wants to go visit this guy just because he remembers him on an off chance. I think that really speaks to the fact that coincidences kind of make everything.
Yeah.
But another part was that like that there is no like coincidence, that there's a step before every other step.
Yeah.
There was another thing he brought up that I liked where, and I kind of appreciate it, that he took advantage. He uses that word, take advantage of the situation. This movie wouldn't really exist if he didn't, I don't know, capitalize on the situation he saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, the director exploits Stevie for the story. Like, Stevie exploits the director as well, to feel better about himself and to help himself.
He even brings it up a few times that he feels like that he's taking advantage of something. But I appreciate that he tried to stay as unbiased as possible. So, what was this shot on? It looked kind of like small film or like hand.
I think it's just a little bit old now. I think it's just a little bit
97.
dated.
Yeah, 97-ish.
So
it looked like mostly like handicap portable cameras, you know.
Yeah.
Not anything that's too crazy to film on.
Yeah. So I think
just simple stuff for a documentary.
I think I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels like a nice, reasonable answer.
Yeah.
So I think even with these lower scores, I would definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting enough to watch, even if it's not necessarily the best film. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. So I enjoyed this documentary. I liked getting a little look into these people's lives, these people's crazy little lives, and just seeing what's going on. I don't know. Stevie's a fascinating character, and there are fascinating characters surrounding him that you just get engrossed with and involved with. The film kept my attention the whole time just because of what these characters are saying and doing the whole time. One thumb up. One thumb up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still no questions for now. Just because we haven't received any. As far as I can tell. I haven't looked in a while, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
No. Just one final thought, I guess, on Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are really fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think that they are the strongest. The human element is definitely the strongest of this film.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think that I'll rewatch this documentary anytime soon.
Probably not. It's a little heavy and a little long.
Yeah.
You know.
They definitely could have trimmed the fat a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because there is some retread now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys for listening to this episode of 8 Eyes on 3 Guys. It's nice to get back to the regular format at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Just me, Eric, and Alex, the 3 guys with the 8 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
8 guys on 3 eyes. But thanks for listening to the podcast. Follow us on whatever social medias we link.
You friend me on Facebook.
Fucking like, subscribe, favorite, all that crap. I don't know what you can do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Steal our videos, put them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
You right swipe me on Twitter.
Yeah. Lick Alex's butthole.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.